So I thought we'd take a look at AGL. Mike Cannon-Brookes has won a bid to this morning to install 4 new directors at AGL Energy and move the company to a green energy future. Ahead of AGL's annual general meeting, the tech titan prevailed against Chair Patricia McKenzie, with Mark Twaddell, Kerry Schott, Christine Holman and John Pollers joining as new members of the board, all backed by Mike Cannon-Brookes. What does this mean for your shareholding? And it's such a significant change on the board. Does it make people reassess the potential of AGL? What do you think, Scott? The market just down slightly, probably. AGL price down in line with the overall market, but the changes to the board, does that change your view on the stock?
It's a really good question, Koshi. I think in this case it probably does unusually, because this is one where there is a real fight for the hearts and minds and frankly shareholder votes of the shareholder base. More often than not, one decent director replaced with another decent director with no meaningful change in strategy. And remember, most of the time too, it's probably too cute to say that directors don't drive strategy, the CEO does, but I think it's also pretty true generally speaking. That is, whatever the CEO is trying to do now, he or she will probably be trying to do in 12 months' time, no matter how many changes are made to the board. This is a very significant change. This is all about the Mike Cannon-Brookes show at AGL. I don't say that pejoratively or supportively, by the way, just what's going on. Cannon-Brookes is the largest single shareholder. He's got a very specific vision for the company. He's advanced that vision both in terms of the original demerger, knockdown, and then the subsequent changes to the board. So, more than almost at any time I can recall in large corporate history, lots of little companies that get whipsawed around the place, but very rare a large-scale board change means that big a difference to the company. But it clearly does here. There is a Mike Cannon-Brookes view, supported by those directors, or vice versa. They're all buying into it. I'm not saying they're necessarily puppets for him, but he's put them up because he thinks they are going to achieve the vision he sees for the company. And so you better believe that Cannon-Brookes' vision is the way the business will be run. If you like that, if you think it's going to create value for shareholders and you're pretty happy. If you didn't like it yesterday, you're going to like it even less today. And it probably is a chance for some people to sell their shares who maybe thought Cannon-Brookes is there, but the board is the board. They'll do their thing. Yep. This is very clearly a change in, I think, company strategy. And that will be prosecuted for better or worse. So yeah, you really should be looking at the new board and Cannon-Brookes' vision and saying, is this the company I want to own either as a current shareholder? Maybe it is a new shareholder you're looking at saying, great, I love what Cannon-Brookes is going to do. Now's the time to buy AGL shares. Yep. But you probably shouldn't. You probably shouldn't think nothing about it. There is definitely a change here, and you need to know and have a view whether that's good or bad for your investment.
Is it enough to get you on board AGL?
No, not because I have a particular view on Cannon-Brookes specifically. I am pretty bearish on both these companies, despite the takeover bid, by the way, for Origin. This is a low margin price taking business. It's been a terrible business for most of the last 20 or so years, generally speaking. So I don't want to be there necessarily, certainly not at elevated prices. Environmentally, I'm a card-carrying believer in the science of climate change, so I hope Cannon-Brookes is right. Yeah. I hope a faster change to renewables is doable, and I hope it's also in the interest of AGL shareholders. I think it probably is on balance. Whether it's good value at the current price, that's a different question. No, I'm still sitting on the sidelines.
Because you look at that 5-year chart, and it was at $25 in the last 5 years, so not much chance of it getting back to that. What do you reckon, Kevin?
Well, yeah, I think Scott's said, given all the background I could give on it, and yes, I tend to agree. It's not one that meets our filters, of course. The earnings per share has been going up and down, and so we don't see any consistent sort of decent growth out of that. So it basically doesn't meet our filters, and I agree. Right. On top of that, you've now got a very large board who you'd have to say are probably, a number of them may well be in disagreement with each other. So there's a few interesting times ahead, I think.
Yeah, to be a fly on the wall in that board, that's for sure.
Absolutely.